It's one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves. It's challenging because when we try to answer the question, we might not know where to look or even how to begin. Most of us are so busy in our day-to-day lives that it's easy to get wrapped up and lose sight of who we really are. We might feel lost without a good sense of connection to our own identity. This can lead to a divisive self. One way is to go back and identify the moments in your life that have shaped you. I call these moments inspiration dates. Inspiration can be defined as a moment or experience that stimulates the mind and gives you new ideas or helps change your perception in some way. This has served me well as an author, as I frequently go back and revisit these moments to use as inspiration for my children's books about kindness, acceptance, compassion, and forgiveness. What I discovered from the process is that it was actually gifting me with something even more powerful than merely an idea for a storyline. It was teaching me something about myself, about who I was. How ironic when I realized that this was actually my intention in becoming a children's author after all, to help children find themselves. Therein lies the old adage of the teacher who suddenly becomes the student. We gain inspiration from experiences. Experiences are happening at a rapid rate around us all the time. These moments of energy, also called opportunities, present themselves through a variety of messengers, a symbol, an event, or in an exchange with a person. The problem is we don't often take the time to seek out and identify these moments as significant, or we misinterpret their meaning when they happen. Sometimes we even miss them completely. I began writing children's books because I know what it means to come from a loving family. I understood how it felt to be loved and accepted and to know that I belonged somewhere, and I wanted that for other children. I've been blessed with 3 beautiful children of my own, and I've walked with them through their triumphs and their heartache. The world's a different place today, and children face different challenges and struggles than when I was a little girl. I wanted to contribute in some way to make it a kinder place to grow up. When I think about my first inspiration date to become a writer, it started back in the 3rd grade with my teacher, Mrs. Parker. My love for writing and the importance I now place on storytime all began in her classroom. Children need to have things to look forward to, and we knew every day at the same time we could count on storytime. She created such a special experience for all of us and treated storytime with reverence. That year, we were reading the book, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I loved how she read to us, and I loved listening to her soothing, calming voice that drew you into the story and the characters. I loved how she held the book to show us the illustrations and how she gingerly turned the pages with care. I remember the last day of school like it was yesterday. Every student received a personal note from her. On mine, she wrote, "You are such a gifted writer. Maybe you can write a book of your own someday." I had always loved to read, but never thought of myself becoming a writer. I adored her, and her words of encouragement planted the seed that would sprout years later. When I read stories aloud to children today, I think of her and her beautiful voice and hope that I can deliver the same experience as she did for me back then. I am a writer. I am a narrator. My parents were my heroes and offered constant inspiration. They both endured their shares of struggles and heartbreak as children, and together vowed to raise happy, healthy children. My mother was an immigrant, and she knew what it felt like to be bullied as an adult. My father also knew what it felt like to be bullied, but as a child, and at times he would share those painful memories with me. My mother was a tower of strength in her quiet nature. She was quick-witted, and she always rooted for the underdog. Although she never made it past the 6th grade, she was smart, determined, and self-taught. She was loved by all who knew her. She died in 1983 at the tender age of 52 when she lost her battle with lung cancer. I was only 17 and I was devastated. I attribute the trauma from losing a mother figure so young to my inability to recall even a single conversation we shared growing up. What I do remember is the laughter. She graced me with the gift of humor and lives within me through my uncontrollable giggles at the most inappropriate times. She loved being a mother more than anything else in the world. I am joyful. I am strong. I am a mother. Another source of inspiration that has shaped who I am came from my involvement in sports. The best years of my life took place on the softball field where for most of my young athletic career, my dad was the coach. It's because of him I'm a sports enthusiast and credit the sports arena for teaching me so many of life's most precious lessons. Dad was known fondly by his players as Mr. O and was always someone my friends could talk to if they needed a caring adult with a kind heart who would listen. Every season we seemed to win, and our success wasn't necessarily because of the talent we had, but because we played with incredible heart. Why? Because of the way my dad made us feel. He knew that for some, a game on a Saturday afternoon might be the only joy a child had in their life, even if no one came to see them play or cheer them on. He expected you to work hard and always try your best and talk to us about what being a good teammate meant. And that included sitting out of an important game if that meant giving someone else a chance to play who didn't get a lot of field time. At first, being the starting pitcher and sometimes batting cleanup, I wasn't happy about sitting out. I was a gamer and very competitive, and I wanted to help the team win games. It was then I started to realize firsthand the importance of giving others an opportunity to shine. And if you've ever had the privilege of witnessing an unexpected hit or a play from a bench warmer that both stunned and excited the crowd, you know exactly what I mean. It's something special when the child you were praying and pulling for all season finally has their moment. Being in the presence of that moment for someone else forever changed me. I began at a young age to understand what it felt like to be a part of something much bigger than me. I never forgot the thrill and the magic and carry it with me to this day, and that's a win more than any box score. My dad was 86 when he passed, and the last years of his life, my siblings and I took care of him. He always apologized for being a burden, and I would look at him and say, "You took care of us for years, now it's our turn." Because of him, I am an athlete, I am a listener, I am a mentor, I am a giver. Not every moment presents itself on the world stage for all to see. TV icon and children's advocate Fred Rogers once said, "What's really important, the great things, are never center stage of life's dreams. They're always in the wings." That's why it's so essential for us to be mindful of the humble and the deep, rather than the flashy and the superficial. On November 9th of 2017, I attended my very first state education convention as a new author. I was showcasing my first book, The Adventures of Finley and Cisco, which has a special needs character and teaches children about kindness, acceptance, and the consequences of bullying. I had a terrible booth location and hadn't had many visitors for most of the day. So I was starting to question whether a mom with no letters after her name could really write a story about kindness and make a difference. I'd even thought about leaving early, even though it was against show policy. With only an hour or so left, 2 women stopped at my table. The older woman was a 3rd grade teacher who had brought her daughter along, who was also interested in pursuing a teaching career, like my daughter. She shared that the daughter had been bullied all her life. And seeing from my banner that my book was about bullying, they wanted to know more. She then pulled out a picture of a little boy with bright eyes and a sweet smile. His name was Jorge, and he was her student. I noticed that he was missing part of his left arm beneath the elbow. Like my character Finley, he had also been in a tragic accident and felt different. They told me Jorge would love the book and thought the message could help him. After she purchased one for her own classroom, she asked, would I ever come to her school for an author visit? It would be my first, and I found out it was theirs too. No one had ever visited the school, as it was in a highly depressed, crime-ridden area. I was thrilled. Boy, did they roll out the red carpet for me, and while I was there, I had the opportunity to meet someone who inspired me, my hero, Jorge, and give him a hug. All of this because of the brief exchange from 2 strangers who just shared their story with me. It was the first validation I received for the value of my work. I am a children's author. I am compassionate. I am a difference maker. Sometimes moments of inspiration can come from revelations through painful experiences. 2 years later, things were going well, and I'd visited over 30 schools with our message. On one particular day, I'd just finished an assembly at a grade school, and I didn't feel that it turned out the way I had hoped. As I was packing up, a little boy and a little girl came up to me. The little boy had a white-lined piece of loose leaf paper with the top right corner torn off. He said, "Miss Lisa, my mommy didn't buy me a book, but can I please have your autograph so that I at least have something with your name on it?" Right then and there, I melted. Of course you can, I said. Can I have yours? I always love asking for a child's autograph because of the shocked response they give me. You want mine? Why? Because you're you and you're special, I tell them. The ironic thing about it was that the only piece of paper I could find to give him was a white-lined piece of loose-leaf paper with the top right corner torn off. We exchanged papers, and then he asked, "Can I have a hug?" Right after we hugged, the little girl asked me for a hug as well. I finished packing up and I made it to my car. When I opened the piece of paper the little boy signed for me, I couldn't believe what I saw. Below his signature were the words, "Keep being the author you were called to be." The moment was so significant for me because I realized that while I went to school that day to help the children find their true selves, in reality, they reminded me about my true self. I carry that note with me everywhere I go. I am a student. I am resilient. I'm a hugger. So why is searching for inspirational moments so important to reconnect with who we are? It's the most honest way to understand our response to a certain situation. In most cases, we had no control over them, and we responded in a way that was natural to our true self. It's the meaning we attach to the experience that makes it a significant life event or not. And there's also health benefits that come from asking the question, who am I? Prominent psychologists tout the benefit of knowing ourselves and being authentic in our search for happiness. Research has proven that memories of happy experiences, especially ones that involve social interaction, seem to benefit people because they reshape how we see ourselves for the better. You can stand firm in your own identity by following a few simple steps that will help you identify and tap into these powerful moments to know your authentic self. By cataloging and recalling these experiences and the emotions they evoked, we can rediscover what we value most in shaping who we are. By ranking them in order of importance, perhaps the process will reveal patterns about what we care about most and help uncover our core values. It's what we choose to pull in and make our own, to add some sort of meaning to that ultimately shapes our attitude and the type of person we become. Go back. Recall these moments in your life. Can you reframe them? Is there one that's clear? Can you elevate it and wear it like a badge to empower you going forward? Imagine a world where everyone is confident in who they are, contributing fully, engaging fully, living fully. This is the world I'm calling you to be a part of. Find your inspiration dates. Hold them close. Use them. Thank you.